This document, which is Cineworld Debt, it contains information from 3 separate documents: the 8th of September first day presentation, the 30th of September interim results for the period ending 30th of June, and then the 4th of January 2023 Jan case update. There's a bit of debt information in that I think is really interesting. And so this is the information from the June filing. This is how much debt Cineworld had ending June. And I think this is more importantly, this is just like a lesson on valuing debt in cinema. So valuing debt on businesses. So the different types of debt. So you have bank overdrafts, which is just like your bank overdrafts, except bigger. They are tiny, 15 million. Then you've got unsecured bank and private placement loans, secured bank and private placement loans. I think the unsecured private placement loans are things like, so they get like 1 million kilos of popcorn delivered and they have to pay them 30 days after it's delivered. And things like, oh, they put Top Gun in the cinema, so they have to pay the fees to Top Gun for renting their film, putting them in, so the blockbuster fees. Then the secured bank and private placement loans, that's the important one. That is what we have borrowed from banks to purchase Regal, that is acquiring interest and is making life difficult for us. That is 4.9 billion. And then in this is all finance debt. So there is no capital lease debt. So this is what you want to get out of the thing. Capital lease debt is just like rent payments. So you might see a statistic that Cineworld have 9 billion in debt. They don't. That is only if you include capital lease debt. That debt will actually be less now because they've dropped so many capital leases. That will also hurt their revenue. So it's neither good nor bad unless those cinemas were not making us money, in which case it's fantastic that we dropped them, because then our operating income will go up and our debt will go down. And so getting our EBITDA to equity to debt ratio stronger will be easier. That's an important thing. To get out of Chapter 11 filing, we need to get our EBITDA to debt down. We had to pay 490 million, but a lot of that was lease liabilities and interest. So 230 million, which will be going down, was what we had to pay to rent. Lease liabilities is the land that our cinema is on. There is a fee there. And some of these cinemas are in such absurd locations where the fee to lease the land that it's on would be absurdly high. But also the big figure, the 4 billion figure, is stretched over many years. But then you've got this interest expense, bank loans and overdrafts. So this is what we need to pay creditors. It's 150 million. That to me doesn't seem unachievable. It was only the fact that we were in a difficult situation. Then you've got this graph, horribly labeled graph in the Jan filing. So this was about a month ago. It took me a long time to figure out what this was. This dotted line is when we went into Chapter 11 filing, and this is how much legacy loan, how much loan interest payments we had not paid off. So we had a tiny amount of money in the bank, no money to pay off loans, and we had 40 million to pay. That's what I'm guessing. Guessing this is all in the millions. We weren't able to pay it off, so we had to go into Chapter 11 filings. We got a big loan for which the first interest payment is 100 million. Debtor in possession financing would make sense. Around 20% would be around, I think, 100 million. You've got that here. This is the interest payment that is the first interest payment that's due. So the old debt we can then pay off. We've gotten that down to 18 million. We've still got this interest payment here to pay off. And so the question becomes, can Cineworld pay off 100 million?